so tight, so I can breathe. All I breathe is the air around you, and you watch me so close, so I can see. All I see is your gaze upon me.
Hello, my friends. We're back with a fresh new interview with your host, Poncho Camano. This guy he never goes away. It's the same guy over and over and over. Today we're speaking with Anamaría de la Cruz. Su nombre artístico es Anamaría, me parece. Ella es una cantautora, educadora, productora, hace de todo. Tiene 20 manos y un cerebro bastante grande, yo creo. Productora. Reside en California, en el área de Los Ángeles, por ahí, ella me va a decir, más o menos. Y tiene un álbum que es su primer álbum debut, que se titula Gone. Gone. Es el debut álbum, y me parece que fue publicado el June 2024. She looks exactly like this lady. Must be the same one. Muy chulo. Very nice. So we're going to talk to her about this album and many other things that I did a little research, and it was really fun to find things about her. So thank you so much for being here, Anamaría. Es un placer tenerte.
Igualmente, muchas gracias, José.
Muy contento de que esté acá. Iba a preguntarte, I was going to ask you, ¿eres originaria de Boston, Massachusetts? ¿Naciste en Boston?
No,
No naciste en Boston.
nací en Bakersfield, California.
Ok.
Sí, y luego más o menos a los 6 años nos mudamos a Boston.
Ok. Pues que estaba, I was researching and I took a look at her biography, what I could find. It's a lot, so much stuff. I was talking about, eres una hija, se puede decir, de organizadores del movimiento de trabajadores agrícolas unidos, ¿verdad? La
Sí.
UFW.
Sí,
Que es bastante conocido en todos los Estados Unidos. Seguramente mucha gente va a reconocer esas siglas, UFW. Se puede decir que creciste entre piquetes, marchas, boicots. Me imagino. Es cierto que en el 1986 el gran César Chávez, que era un American Labor Leader, activista de derechos civiles, que era nacido en Arizona, no en México, fue nacido en Arizona. Tenían una relación con tus padres, me parece, y creo que en esas épocas les llamó para que le ayudaran a liderar el boicot de las uvas en Boston, Massachusetts.
sí. Yo, bueno, viví la historia, pero también cuando fui a la universidad, hice mi tesis también, de la historia del movimiento de la Unión de Campesinos. Entonces, conozco la historia por vivir la historia y luego
Claro.
me puse a estudiar. Y mi mamá empezó, creo, en el año 1968 a trabajar con la Unión de Campesinos y se fue de la Universidad de UC Irvine y se juntó con César Chávez y con todos los organizadores en ese tiempo. Y luego mi papá creo que vino más o menos en 1972. Puede ser que me equivoco un poquito, pero él había llegado de la guerra de Vietnam. Él era campesino y luego se fue a la guerra de Vietnam, con el Navy y regresó y se juntó igual, a la unión de César Chávez, pero antes, yo creo, la primera organizadora en mi familia fue mi abuela. que era la
mm,
mamá de mi papá, y ella se juntó mucho antes, cuando César empezó a organizar. Ella tiene la fama de ser como la primera organizadora de los campesinos, una de las primeras mujeres.
mm,
Entonces se juntaron mis padres y pasaron mucho tiempo organizando juntos, y luego nacimos nosotros cuatro, somos cuatro hermanos,
mm,
y ya llegamos yo al año que usted dice, en
mm.
1986, que
Seis. Mm,
estuvimos en California. Mis padres
mm,
habían organizado en Texas, en Canadá,
mm,
y creo que Arizona y muchas partes de California, y César pidió a que organizaron lo que era el boicot de uvas
mm.
en Boston.
Ok.
Entonces dijeron que sí y nos fuimos todos a Boston. Y yo tenía 6 años.
Ah, ahí está tu
Sí,
relación con Boston.
sí,
Entonces se puede decir que tu abuela fue la primera activista en la familia.
sí,
Mm,
exacto, sí,
me imagino que conservas muchas memorias grabadas en tu mente. Hay algunas que se desaparecen con el tiempo, pero hay otras que quedan grabadas para siempre, ¿verdad? Ah,
sí.
¿qué te iba a decir? Tú tocas el piano. ¿Cuándo comenzaste a estudiar piano? ¿Eso fue en la universidad?
No, la verdad, yo creo que mi mamá se dio cuenta de que era cantante porque empecé a cantar a los 3 años,
Mm,
y me pusieron como en las fiestas de familia a cantar en frente de la gente, y luego creo que mi primer concierto fue cuando tenía más o menos 5 años. Y mi mamá sí venía de también una familia que tenía bastante experiencia en la música. Mi abuelo, su papá de mi mamá,
mm.
fue cantante de ópera.
Ah, mira tú.
Entonces ella dijo, a mí misma dijo, si quieres seguir con la música, tienes a fuerzas que tocar el piano. Y
Ah,
dijo, cantas bien, pero no necesitas estudiar la música, y que el piano es un instrumento como que es la base, pues.
mm.
Y me forzó realmente a estudiar el piano.
Ah, qué bueno.
Pero sí me gustó. Y eso fue cuando ya llegamos a Boston, más o menos el mismo año, de 6 o 7 años de
Mm,
edad, empecé a estudiar el piano.
mm,
Y me puse a estudiar el piano por varios años.
mm. Y también asististe a la Universidad de Yale en Connecticut, ¿right?
Sí,
¿Y te
sí,
graduaste en historia y etnicidad?
sí,
Ah,
sí,
inmigración.
sí,
Mm,
sí.
muchas
No,
cosas. No, no
es-
estabas, siempre estabas haciendo cosas, ¿no? De que me quedo
sí,
aquí estancada no, no, tengo que seguir.
sí,
Sí, sí. Y ahí también hiciste interpretación vocal o hiciste teatro
sí.
también. Has hecho tantas cosas que ¿no?
Sí, cuando era niña empecé a hacer, no sé si en español se llaman musicales, pero en
Sí,
inglés como
musicales, sí.
musical theater,
Sí, teatro
y
musical, sí.
lo hice como por muchas horas y muchos años. Empecé a los más o menos 8 años, y estuvimos cada noche en el teatro como
Mm,
hasta las 10 de la noche.
wow.
Y me puse bueno, me gustó mucho. Y entonces, por años hice varios musicales como de Broadway, pues que son como Annie, y me
Mm,
acuerdo Oliver. Y luego también, por hacer los musicales, empecé a hacer como lo que se llama en inglés straight plays, que no tenía nada que ver con
con
música,
música.
pero fue como actuación.
Mm,
Y lo hice también como profesional. Me empezaron a pagar, o cuando de niña,
mm,
no sé, yo creo que vinieron al teatro y unos scouts, y me ofrecieron trabajo haciendo, ¿cómo se dice? En inglés lo que es voiceover work, así como estoy haciendo ahorita con usted, pero que
mm,
de leer, de cantar en el
mm,
estudio.
Como de doblaje, de doblaje, sí. Ujú,
Sí, y también actuación, como actora en otras producciones y lo quise seguir, pero mi mamá también en ese momento, creo que tenía tuve como varios años haciendo eso y
mm,
llegó a un punto como a los 13 años y mi mamá dijo tienes que estudiar y terminar la escuela y luego cuando estés grande puedes decidir,
mm,
pero si lo haces, o sea, si haces solo esto ahorita, tienes que dejar de asistir a la escuela porque no
sí.
hay tiempo y luego ella era soltera en ese tiempo porque se habían separado ya mis padres y
Ujú,
estaba trabajando y éramos cuatro hermanos y
mm,
dijo la verdad no puedo estar contigo en el set todo el día y la noche y no
claro,
la voy a dejar sola.
claro, claro.
En ese tiempo como fue un punto en donde
Mm,
seguía en producciones, pero también me puse, o sea, seguía estudiando también.
mm,
Y, y eso fue como no sé, un punto en la vida en donde uno puede ir por
sí,
un
sí.
paso
Otro,
o
sí.
otro, sí.
Sí. ¿Llegaste a hacer algunas giras internacionales con coros de cámara
Sí,
y
sí,
presentaciones con bandas en vivo también, ¿verdad?
sí, sí, me interesó todo y
Mm,
no sé por qué, pero como me gustó todo y yo no sé si es porque en la manera en que vivía,
mm,
como que me fijé que había una variedad de música, digo, como era yo mexicana y a la
mm.
vez irlandesa y a la vez americana
Ajá.
y anduve no sé, con muchos grupos diferentes, entonces, me interesó todo y por la escuela, también como de muy joven, creo de 12 años, me dieron una beca para estudiar en una escuela que tiene mucha fama cerca de Boston y tiene no sé si tiene programas muy buenos por los estudiantes por estudiar música. Pues entonces, nos llevaron a Francia, a Inglaterra,
Mm,
a cantar y a presentar y era música clásica.
mm.
Entonces,
Eras como
sí.
una esponja, absorbías todos los estilos, todos
Sí,
los géneros musicales.
sí. Sí, no quise, no, no sé, sí, me interesó todo, pues. Y
Sí.
quería aprender creo que lo que sí veo ya viendo por atrás es
Mm,
que me gusta aprender y
mm,
si estoy aprendiendo estoy feliz. Entonces
claro.
creo que si vi algo en donde podía aprender más, yo
Mm,
decía, sí, ya vamos a hacer esto.
le pongo manos ahí al asunto. Eh, Después de actuar en tantos estos diferentes proyectos, ¿cuándo decidiste que era de escribir tu propia música y componer? ¿Y por qué lo hiciste?
Sí, es interesante. Por años, bueno, de lo que me acuerdo,
Mm,
este... que suena raro, pero te digo de todas maneras,
sí.
primero, me acuerdo haber soñado, así se dice, la música en mis sueños
Ajá.
y me levantaba sabiendo que tenía música, en mi mente,
Sí.
pero como que no lo podría agarrar y acordar, lo que soñaba,
O
pero
sea que
sí
por la
sabía,
mañana tenías recuerdos de algo, pero ya no se te había olvidado, pero sabías que lo habías soñado.
sí, y eso me
Mm,
pasó por mucho tiempo.
mm,
Y luego, decidí ir a sacar una maestría
mm,
porque me sentía, cuando ya pasamos años después que me hice mamá
mm,
y tener a mis hijas,
mm.
como que se me forzó a decidir que necesitaba no sé, como tomar no sé, quería hacer algo, según que era, no sé, algo más profesional, no sé cómo
Mm,
decirlo en otra manera, pero
mm,
en ese tiempo me puse en la mente que si sacaría la maestría en música, que
mm,
eso sería un señal de que me ha- como dedicarme más a la música, pues.
mm,
Entonces, cuando saqué la maestría fue un tiempo muy difícil porque este, mi, mi hija, la segunda, tenía una hija de 4 años y la segunda de 6 meses.
ouch. Ya.
Y empecé a la maestría y luego, haciendo la maestría, me dijo mi mamá que tenía cáncer.
Ah,
Y todo eso
mm,
era como, no sé, un tiempo muy difícil, pero también por una manera
mm,
algo se quebró y
sí,
algo abrió también porque ya las canciones que tenía en mi mente ya las
ya.
pude sacar fácilmente.
Empezaron a fluir, like
Sí.
a flow.
Sí,
Mm,
y no fue, es que estaban allí muy fácil para ya
mm,
ponerlas en una hoja y grabarlas y desde entonces empecé a escribir, componer pues
mm,
y, am, y no era difícil sacar la música de mi mente desde entonces, pero sí era un tiempo muy difícil.
mm,
Pero fue interesante que en ese momento también tan difícil fue cuando empecé a tener la música a
mm.
la mano,
Pues
pues por decir.
sí, tenías las cosas mucho más claras en tu mente. ¿Se
Sí.
puede decir que este álbum, Gone, es una especie de homenaje a tus padres? ¿Se podría decir de alguna manera?
Sí,
Sí,
nadie me
¿verdad?
ha dicho eso, José, pero me vas a hacer llorar, la verdad, pero sí, es muy cierto, yo creo que
Sí,
sí. Sí,
porque
casi todas las canciones tienen que
sí,
ver, por una manera u otra de ellos,
claro.
pues,
Sí, las he
sí,
estado escuchando varias veces, los temas. Son 9 temas, ¿verdad? Creo que son 9.
sí,
Sí, sí.
sí,
Todos
sí.
hablan de relaciones personales, experiencias personales sobre ¿no? El amor, el desamor, la pérdida de seres queridos, me imagino. Eh, ¿Ha sido para ti como una especie de purificación del alma? ¿Como una liberación mental?
Sí, la verdad,
Mm,
sí, yo creo que cuando empecé a pues, a escribir,
mm,
y a grabar y no con nadie, nomás con mí misma,
right,
como que se me calmó y la verdad, creo que como soy educadora también
mm,
lo que diría a personas que están pensando en componer o
mm,
es que la verdad es una actividad, para uno mismo
mm,
que ayuda en muchas cosas, la
right.
verdad.
Sí, sí.
Y me interesa lo que es, yo no sé, me interesa lo que es curarse o
Claro.
curar. Y si es, mis padres, su trabajo de ellos fue 100% en servicio a los demás. O sea, eso
Mm,
sí, era su trabajo de vida, ellos.
claro.
Y era como una no sé cómo decirlo, algo que nunca nos dijeron directamente, pero su ejemplo en la
Sí,
manera en que trabajaron,
sí,
todos los hermanos los sacamos
claro.
y sí, me siento que por la música, no sé, es algo también que tengo en la mente que sí compartiendo la música, si
Mm,
hay otra persona que está sintiendo mal o está pasando algo difícil,
mm,
yo me siento yo que la música ayuda mucho
sí.
y si uno mismo puede componer y escribir lo que está en su mente, ayuda a la
Mm,
persona misma.
mm.
Entonces sí.
¿Está en tu cabeza a lo mejor en un futuro poder escribir algún libro o algo parecido? ¿O no?
Sí, me estás leyendo la mente.
No.
Am, sí, la verdad, lo que quisiera hacer ahorita es escribir un libro,
Mm,
porque se me hace que la vida, mis padres no escribieron libros, pero mi mamá sí, la verdad, fue escritora y
mm,
siempre estaba escribiendo en un cuaderno y dejó am, no sé cómo
¿Como un diario?
cuadernos, sí, sí, muchos
Mm,
escribió y escribió, publicó ella misma, pero solo fue para la familia una historia de su familia,
mm,
y de sus abuelos y todo, pero no fue tan, por decir, personal, pero creo
mm,
que también si hubiera tenido mi mamá más tiempo,
mm,
ella fue mi primera maestra en escritura y
mm.
fue muy buena. Ella, después de dejar organizar por la Unión de Campesinos, ella regresó a la escuela por una maestría en educación y pasó varios años como maestra en el nivel de, no sé, de la universidad, maestra de inglés.
Ah, mira tú. Mm,
Y sí,
mm.
ella, la verdad era escritora.
Wow.
Entonces, yo sí tengo canciones, pero también tengo no sé, cuentos, pues, que quisiera
Sí,
poner en un libro.
sí, adaptar.
Sí,
Está bien, muy
sí,
interesante. Mm.
sí, gracias.
Te voy a preguntar algunas cosas en inglés.
Sí.
Eh, do you actively work to develop your musical style, or it just has it naturally evolved?
Yeah, I would say it has naturally evolved. This album certainly, like, I think has really opened my eyes to music production. But
Mm,
when we went into the studio, it was what I would say is very organic. And
mm,
I went in with a group of musicians that I met during my master's program, and we had already been playing together for 7 years. And they're all
mm.
very talented. I think the guitarist went to Berkeley School of Music,
Music.
and the
Mm,
bass player went to USC, and is a studied film scoring. And
mm,
the percussionist and I were in school together, and then we had this phenomenal engineer who has won a Grammy,
mm,
and we just kind of went in, and I think we did some rehearsal beforehand,
mm,
but whenever they have played with me, we all
mm.
have the music, and we just play. And
Right,
so they did a master's concert with me too. They did, and I think some of it's on YouTube, but
right.
that
I
was,
saw it.
7 years before we went into the album. So we had 7 years playing
Mm,
together, and it wasn't, I listen to songs now, and I'm really curious about the production, new and young musicians, and how are people making the choices about production. And I think certainly, um, we just played together, kind of like you would do in the old days when you just
yeah,
went in and played. It wasn't like we were making the music for television, or,
right,
we were making the music to try to make money. We were just
right.
recording the music, and
Very natural process, I guess we could
yeah,
say.
I think
Yeah,
we were really lucky,
yeah.
yeah, it was very lucky to
I
have
listen
that.
to the songs. It's like a mixture of, I don't know, folk, rock, a little country. It's a little bit of everything. Everything she likes, I guess. She puts in the album, which came out really good. Like I listened, I don't remember how I got first time. I think it was Instagram, probably. I don't remember. I think I saw the picture, a photo, a professional photo of her holding the album, maybe caught my attention. So I'm like, who is she? I have no idea who she is. So I listened to the album, and I enjoy every kind of music, almost every 99% I enjoy. So I really enjoy her music, uh, especially you know when you pay attention to the lyrics, which you should. Music is great, but I mean the lyrics is what caught my attention the most. So that's one thing I really like about artists that play folk. And I mean, it's not like heavy metal that is like very hard, and you have to pay attention to the lyrics. And this is easy to understand if it's not that hard to understand what she sings, because she sings like very clearly. It's like a pure form of singing. And so it was very pleasant to listen to her album. I did many. There are two songs, Long Gone and another called Gone. It's like you use that word twice in two different songs. Uh, are you talking about your parents? Where are you? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting. I thought about changing the title of the second one, and I
Hmm.
was like, no, I'm just gonna keep it. It's it is the title of the song. But yeah, the first one, Gone, is about my mom,
Hmm.
and the second one, Long Gone, is really about when my dad left. And
Okay.
so my dad left and my parents separated when I was 8.
Hmm.
And it was like not planned. He really, they just had this kind of break. And I
Hmm.
and I know that my mother was surprised when he left.
Right.
And so I think it was very painful for the kids, and then it was even more painful for her,
Hmm.
because all of a sudden, unexpectedly, she was responsible for 4 children on her own. And
Right.
then certainly financially, I think it was really scary.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and so that song, Long Gone, I wrote a little bit about the song, but it started out where I was writing about my dad leaving, and I
Hmm.
was writing from my point of view. And I was that little girl, whose parent had left. But
Hmm.
then, my mom, being a writer and the kind of person she was,
Hmm.
she shared so much with me, and we were very close. And she shared so much with me about what happened and when it happened. And she had already, I think, the timeline. So
Hmm.
then, when I started writing Long Gone, it very quickly switched into her point of view
Okay.
about what it was like to,
Hmm.
have your partner be
Hmm.
gone and leave unexpectedly.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and then Gone, which is the title track on the album, is about losing my mom. And it's hard to talk about,
Yes. Yeah.
um, I am actually an introvert. It's been hard to share all these things. I think
I
that's the
understand.
hardest thing.
I
I think there are artists
yes.
who really love, they love the sharing part, and I
Right.
think I love the writing, and I
Hmm.
certainly enjoy performing, but it's it's harder. This is very personal, and it's also the first personal thing professionally. When you
Hmm.
play a role, on stage or even in the choir,
Right.
you're taking on somebody else's role. And I've done that my whole life, and this is the first time where I'm
Right.
writing about my life. So it's just a
Yeah.
little different. But yeah, I had it was during that same time in graduate school when things were very challenging that I
Hmm.
also just kind of started to kind of tap into everything that had happened when I was young.
Hmm.
And um I confronted my mom about some of the things, did this really happen?
Hmm.
And and she was really uncomfortable with talking about it.
Hmm.
And we both kind of shut down, and we had a period where we weren't speaking. And
Mhm.
I think when you're a kid, mostly you want your parents to just say sorry
Right.
and keep on talking, but we just didn't have the skills, either of us. And I
Right.
was and so we just stopped talking. And we did eventually, speak before she passed away, but there was a lot that we didn't resolve, if
Right.
that
So
makes
sometimes
sense.
it's really hard to say I'm sorry. It seems like easy to say, but it's not that easy.
No.
It's not, right?
No.
It's
And
not easy.
so, yeah, there was just a lot of regret on my part,
Right.
that I wish I had had the skills at the time
Right.
to repair and
Hmm.
to let her know, that
Right.
I had forgiven her. Yeah, so that's where that song came from.
Hmm.
And um and yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard. I think it's hard when you have these unexpected deaths where they're
Right.
just there, you think you have more time,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's a
you think,
universal theme.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you
And
think
then you don't have more
you
time.
think I got enough time to prepare. Let's leave it for later. Maybe next week we'll talk about it. Or maybe next month when I feel much better. And then time goes by, and time keeps ticking.
Yeah.
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 What about the song "I Could Never Love You"? What is that song about?
I think that song comes from relationships that I've had in the past
Hmm.
where there was like an imbalance,
Okay.
where I think the words are like the way you wanted me to, or the way I wanted you to. And so there's like these both sides of
Okay.
people loving and missing something.
Hmm.
And then I also think it was about my parents' relationship too. They loved each other very much,
Right.
and yet they just couldn't they couldn't make it work.
Okay.
If you want any behind the scenes notes, I
Yeah.
wrote that as a duet.
Oh.
And so I had this idea that I would sing the female part, and then there would be like a male
Yeah.
lead.
Okay.
And it kind of came time to record the album, and I hadn't found a male voice
proper,
that
yeah.
that would really work. And then we were gonna sing it the way I composed it, the last verse in harmony.
Okay.
And then I just did it as a solo, and it was fine.
Work out.
But yeah,
It was fine.
yeah.
It was fine. I'm
But, yeah.
thinking maybe in the future album, it's gonna be, I don't know if it's gonna be a struggle for you to write happy or sad songs. Like more sentimental, or more like, more like upbringing. Like, I don't know. Or you still have a lot of things that you want to talk about that you still haven't finished.
Yeah. So I've been writing now. I think the challenges of independent musicians, I don't know if you've heard this from other people, but I'm a perfectionist. And when I went into the studio, I think we did this in a great way where I had amazing engineers. But as it's not cheap to go and do studio recording.
Of course,
And I did a
yes.
Kickstarter, which was really exciting. I learned so much about fundraising, and it was a successful Kickstarter.
Right.
But I think I have more music that I would like to record, and I think the challenge I have is, okay, where is the next budget going to come from? And what I'm noticing, just having learning about the music industry this year, is that it seems like so many independent musicians are teaching themselves all the engineering and all the production.
Right.
And they're really doing this from home studios, because the cost of going into the studio gets to be so high. Even if you do it cheaply, it's still at a cost. And as you know, like streaming is not, musicians are wondering, well, nobody is buying music the same way, so where does the income come from, right? And then I think all musicians are having to be creative about other places. So all of that is running through my head. I love the learning. I'm learning a lot, but I think that musicians need a really strong union. That's what I think.
Talking about unions.
Stronger union. Yeah.
I'm talking about, we talk about unions, and it had nothing to do with music, but I might go on strike starting next month myself.
Are you serious?
Of course, yeah. We're having a big problem.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So we might go on strike starting in October 1st. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on.
I hope it
we
goes
gotta
okay.
fight. I gotta fight with my union also.
Yeah.
Boy. Tell me one thing you like about yourself, Anamaría. We could, something that you really like about yourself. It could be, I don't know, you are a resilient survivor, or I don't know, you respect love, diversity of any kind. That was something that you really think you're good at it, and you're a good person. I don't know.
That's a really good question. Something that I'm noticing about myself, as I've gotten older, that I don't think I could have articulated when I was young, is that I'm very sensitive to the energy of people around me. And I think it's a good thing and it can be challenging, but certainly there's like an awareness that I have of how is somebody feeling, you know, what are they bringing to the table? I'm very interested in people's stories, I think, and I didn't take psychology as a major, but I'm interested in why people do the things they do. And certainly I think I enjoy observing people. You know, just
Right.
like an observer of people and life. I can sit and watch, you know, and I like to listen to people. I get along with people that are much older than I am, and sometimes I think it's because they have so many stories to tell, you know. So I just
Right.
like hearing people's stories. That's always been interesting to
Yeah,
me.
you're very similar to really enjoy listening to my grandfather, my grandfather telling me stories from traveling all over the world and telling me meeting people and things like that. I was always looking for that to talk to
Yeah.
him about that. So
And I know that you're the interviewer, but I was curious because I don't know if I'll get the chance to ask you,
yeah,
but
come on.
you were saying, I think you're trilingual,
Yeah,
right?
I speak Galician, Galego. Yeah,
So where is your family from?
from Galicia, from Spain,
They're from Galicia.
from
Okay.
Galicia. Yes. So I never spoke Spanish in Spain. I always spoke Galician, Galego. So I always, I mean, in school I spoke Castilian, I guess it's called.
Mhm.
But at my house, my friends, I never spoke Castellano, never.
Mhm.
So, I spoke the trilingual, I guess. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can say that. Talking about life and stuff, are you able to laugh at the stupidity and drama of our daily lives? Or you think it's okay to laugh of life's hardest things?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think, you know, I think you have to laugh or you have to cry. I
Mm,
just, and but I do think there is, my sister and I are very close, and, you know, we kind of recount some of the hardships.
mm,
And sometimes we laugh, we just poke fun at them, you know,
yeah,
and I think it's a way of relieving some of the pain or the stress. And certainly, I do find some things very humorous that maybe other
right.
people don't find
Find disturbing.
humorous. Yes. But
So,
I
so you're a
do,
hopeful person, I guess, Anamaría, you know? Well, if we're looking at the state of affairs of our country right now, the USA, are you hopeful for a better future, or you think we are like on shaky ground right now, like arenas movedizas, I guess you could say?
yeah, I mean, you know what's interesting, Jose, is I think that if I weren't a mother, I think I could be a little bit more flippant or blasé about it. And
Hmm,
I think being a mother and caring about my children that the way I do, it
hmm,
does tether you like to the reality a little more. I can't just dream
hmm,
because I know that even if I'm gone, you know, they're going to be here. And
right.
so with the US, yeah, I've had mixed feelings. You know, it's interesting, like as a history major, certainly like I was interested in studying the beginning of the history of this country. And I know
Hmm,
that, you know, there were these great divisions that we had in this country,
right.
even you know, during the time of the Revolutionary War, and we have all these factions that are so different.
Yeah,
And I think we carry a lot of that still. And
right.
I think, but I think we're desperate to have somebody bring those different factions together because, you know, like we saw with the storming of the Capitol and everything that
Yeah,
happened, you know, it is very hard to keep a democracy together if
right.
you have these factions to the point of warring with each
Right.
other. And
Yeah,
you know your history and all over the world too of other countries when
of
we've seen
course.
it happen with other countries, you know, in near histories that I just don't see any good coming out of that,
Yeah.
you know, of some sort of a new kind of civil war. or dictatorship, those
Right.
things I don't see, they're not good for children,
Of course not.
right? And so yeah, so I'm hopeful, yes. But am I worried sometimes? Yes, I'm
Yeah.
also worried too,
Yeah.
I think we need a lot of strong leadership. The thing that's exciting about being an educator is I get to work with a lot of young people, and they are phenomenal, inspirational. I love that piece. I mean, I think that we have a lot of strong leaders coming up, but
Right.
we're certainly going to need a lot of strong leadership for the kinds of issues that we're
Yes.
facing,
Of course. Yeah, that's very
I don't know if
interesting.
that's a good
Yeah, that was a
answer.
very good answer. My optimism goes from one day, and the next day I'm pathetic. I'm like, this is bad. This is bad. Then the next day I'm again uplifted for some minor reason, and I'm thinking, oh, there's a great future coming.
Yeah.
Goes up and down every day. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what things stifle your creativity? Anamaría, like chaotic environments or self-criticism. What negative people? What things like se puede decir que reprimen o apagan tu creatividad? Como you lose your touch, makes you stop what you're doing.
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge I have right now is just time. And I think that I do have 3 young children. And I am also working, I don't come from an affluent family. I've always had a job. And I enjoy working too. I mean, I think that comes from my parents, but I like working. And so I'm teaching, and I do see that I can see the value when you're a writer, a songwriter, a musician, where you have uninterrupted days where you just get to create. And I don't have that luxury. And so maybe I will get there, with time.
So you need time.
Yes,
Because I see you like riding a bicycle. She doesn't, she does that. She has some free time to do that, to ride a bicycle. I guess I know she enjoys doing sports, physical activity sometimes. But you need that time to do it, to remove your stress, I guess, right?
Yeah. And to
Riding
stay
a bicycle,
healthy.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I didn't write about this anywhere publicly. But my parents both passed away so young, and certainly their passing made me reflect on their health. And my dad, I think I didn't bring myself to read the autopsy report. I need to still read it. I think it's been 2 years, I think, since he passed away, but I think it was like some sort of aneurysm or heart attack.
Okay.
And they were both so hardworking that I think what they relegated to the end was their personal health, the physical health. And they just worked so hard. And so I think there's a part of me that has a fear that if I don't push my personal health to more of a center place, that I am going to not live a long life.
We need you around for some time. Don't go.
Yeah, and I'd like to, for my kids, I'd like to be around, I
Of
think
course.
so. But that's the biking. That is a little bit, because I'm sure musicians have told you, but the music industry is relentless. I mean, you can work and work and work, and there's always something you can do. You can do live concerts, you can do social media, you can record, you can write. And I don't think anyone's ever saying, oh, stop, take a break. Everything you hear is like, keep producing content, keep making, keep creating. And so I think it's really like the artist that has to say, okay, I need to take care of myself, right?
Of course.
But it's hard, it's challenging. Yeah. So I'm pushing myself to get back, to get on the bike. But I was an athlete when I was young too. I played soccer, and I ran track. I played lacrosse. When I was younger.
She's still young. She's just pretending. Let's talk about happy things now. Your daughter is also a singer. She plays the piano, right?
Yes.
And she just had her first solo concert. right? I saw her playing.
Yes.
Posted something
Yeah.
very. Is she into music? I guess also. Are you
Yes,
pushing her, or she's going by herself, or you're trying to?
Yeah, I'm not pushing her, and I'm also not promoting her. I was actually like even sharing that video, I was like, oh,
Yeah, that was fun. I like it. I
but
enjoyed
she's
it.
very talented. I certainly
Mm,
think she's more talented than me. She's
mm.
only 12. She's
Wow.
12 years old, and
Wow.
she started writing her first song she wrote when she was 5. And I recorded it, and she's been singing since she was like 7 months, just singing. And
Mm,
she also started doing musical theater, so kind of some of the same traditions.
right.
My mom was more strict with me, like she was like, you have to practice the piano. And I've tried to be like a little more hands off, I think, with my children.
Mm,
But certainly, I was thinking as long as she enjoys it, I will support her.
mm.
And but it's a fine balance, right?
So you have
Yeah.
two. How many children do you have? You got
Three.
three. Three.
Yeah.
Three.
Yeah. The youngest is 3.
Oh, okay. Oof.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work still.
Yeah.
Oof. That's a lot of work. You got
Do
how
you have
many?
children yourself?
Yeah, but they're older.
Grown.
Yeah, they're grown. They're like I'm at 95 years old. No, they're into their 30s right now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, but you know what it's like
they're
when they're
my kids.
little.
They're my children still. You know,
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
old. For me, they're
Yeah.
like little children. Same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So another thing I read is that you on your next album you're trying to make an album in Spanish. Is that right? Are you trying to or at least write some songs in Spanish, if not the whole album?
Yeah, it's funny. I heard it. I was listening to another writer, and someone was asking about the next project, and I think she
Mm,
said, I don't know if I should talk about the next project until it's here, because if anything, I don't know. It was just this interesting thought about, I may be superstitious talking about the next project,
okay.
but certainly, um, I think it makes sense for the next project to be in Spanish.
Hmm,
And I even thought that this first album I was gonna do in Spanish, and then it just happened, everything happened with my parents and this album came out. But I would like to do the next album in Spanish. That's what I'm thinking now. And
yeah.
also, I think as a vocalist, and as somebody who has studied music, I do feel like the Spanish language with singing lends itself a little more easily. Like there is just something very melodic. I don't
Melodic.
know, with the vowels that Spanish. Um,
Are you
yeah,
thinking of singing rancheras? No, maybe one.
maybe,
Maybe one, maybe two, maybe three, maybe it should be like
maybe
Linda
9.
Ronstadt. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I did grow up with her in my ear. Yeah, and her albums in Spanish are terrific. And
Yeah,
then,
they are good. Hmm.
yeah, and I lived in Mexico, and certainly, sang with mariachi while I was
Oh,
there, and listened to a lot
right.
of music in Mexico that has influenced me a lot, for sure.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, yes, I think I have a long list. I think my challenge is going to be, actually this time, cutting things out.
Did you cut any songs on this album? Do you had any extra ones that you put aside, or that was the whole?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think some that just weren't done.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, that yeah, I tend to write a lot, and
Hmm.
I think the piece that's challenging for me is finishing the song. But I
Right.
have, like a million melodies stored and a million lyrics, and it's just that second verse and finishing everything. I think it's the perfectionism gets in my way. Yeah,
You got time
and the time. Yeah.
and the time. You need the time. So, like I said, I really enjoy her album. No matter if she sings in Spanish, it's perfect also, half and half, like we're doing right now, I guess. Half and half. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Just enjoy what she does, you know. That's the main thing, that you really enjoy composing and writing music. Is what is something that music has offered you that you really enjoy? Just the creativity of putting things out that are in your mind, and you're like, instead of telling this to your neighbor, I'm gonna write it down and show it to everybody at the same time. And it's like a painter, I guess. You just, what is it for
Yeah,
you? It's like music has given you.
I think that's a great question. I'm thinking of the best way of to explain. I think there's the one piece where it has come to a point now where I have to I have to write it down, and
Hmm.
or it'll just keep circling in my head, and I
Hmm.
just have to write it down. I have to go to the piano and work out the chords.
Hmm.
Otherwise it just keeps circling. And then I think the other thing, I've read about this probably a couple years back, but how when you're kind of in the state of flow or the zone, how
Hmm.
nice it is for like the brain and the body.
Hmm.
And I do really enjoy that with music and writing, where it just kind of, you know, it's relaxing. And
Hmm.
there's just, the rest of the world really does kind of fall away, and you get to focus. And I think certainly I have high levels of anxiety in both sides of my family. And
Okay.
so, what I noticed, I think that's why my parents love to work so much, is that if you just have something you can focus on, you just
Right.
kind of relax a little bit more.
Hmm.
It's like something that is relaxing and enjoyable.
Hmm.
So yeah, it
Hmm.
certainly gives me as much as I give it.
Yeah. I will suggest my viewers and listeners to take a look at her webpage. It's Anamaría de la Cruz, all together, I think. Anamariadelacruz.com. Is that right,
Yeah.
Ana Maria?
Yeah. And
Anamariadelacruz.com, right? All together.
yes, all together. Sorry, it'll say
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah,
Let's see
I'll
where.
put a link to
Right
it.
there.
I'll
Yeah.
put a link. Yeah, Ana María de la Cruz. Yeah. From there, you can see all the different things she has available for you. I guess all the a little biography talks about. You can. I think you could go and buy her album. No, is it on vinyl also? Like
Yeah.
it's a limited
I'll show
edition
you guys.
vinyl edition, like the one
Yeah.
you have over there, right?
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
limited edition vinyl.
yeah,
It was so much fun, by the way, to do the vinyl. I think if you're somebody that likes holding something,
yeah,
that's what I love about the vinyl, because we're in this
yeah,
digital era. But yeah, here's the
yeah.
vinyl.
That's the vinyl.
And it has the lyrics. It has a
I see it
printed
has the lyrics.
inner
Yeah.
sheet,
Mm,
and two
yeah.
sides. And yeah, I did a lot of research. I ended up working with a company called Gold Rush Vinyl,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all women owned. They are out
Oh,
of Austin, Texas, and they were really terrific to work with.
cool.
And so yeah, this is on vinyl, and the vinyl is available on my website,
On
and
the
it's limited
website.
edition. Yeah, so
Right.
they're gonna be gone at some point.
Yeah. She's gonna, I guess, autograph if you want, maybe. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know. She'll do it. So it's only like 500 extra bucks for that. No, I don't know. Just kidding.
Yeah, there's an option to have an autographed album,
Yeah.
or just a regular vinyl. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing before we go, you got a lot of things going also. Don't you have like private and small room classes where you teach different things, voice, songwriting, piano,
Yeah, no,
right?
thank you so much for asking. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm teaching, I worked in schools for 20 years,
yeah.
and this is my first year of full-time working for myself, which is really exciting and scary, but it's been great. And
Mhm.
so I'm teaching piano, voice, songwriting, coaching for artists, like kind of all the things you can think of with marketing,
Hmm.
and how to make a living as an artist,
Hmm.
how to produce vinyl, how to release music. And then sound healing. I have a
Okay.
background with sound healing, and so people are kind of coming to me for different things. I am in person and also online. And I teach all ages, so kids
And this
all
is
the way
starting
to
this
adults.
fall, or it's already going?
It's already, it's already
Yeah.
going.
Oh.
Yeah, you can email me if you have like a specific inquiry, or you could just there's an information form where you can fill out online if you already wanted to start. But yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, and you can go on Instagram and start asking her questions. She probably answered. If she has the time, she'll answer them. I'm very sure.
Yes.
If she has to ride her bike and ride at the same time, she'll do it. Whatever she has to do, she'll do it. If she can breathe those wildfires, I don't know. She's gonna have to wear a mask sooner or later, because this is bad. You know what's happening.
Yeah. Yes, it has been really bad.
Yeah. So it was a pleasure talking to you. There's so many things we can talk about. I guess we'll wait for your next album, and we'll pick up where we left off. You know.
Thank you so much, Jose. It's been my pleasure, and I know all the musicians. I've noticed all of your interviews that we appreciate you listening and taking the time to interview us and share. There's not enough people like you in the music industry, so thank you.
I'm the only one that's doing this stuff. Like me, nobody else can copy me. It's impossible. I'm the worst. No, just kidding.
No, thank you so
I
much.
just thank you for being so generous with your time. I know you're a busy person, and I really appreciate that you, especially on a day like today. So I really thank you so much, and wish you all the best, and keep making good music and enjoy what you're doing. That's the most important thing, right? To enjoy what you're doing, and good health for you and your whole family.
Okay, thank you, Jose.
So,
Igual.
All the best.
Okay, muchas gracias.
Nada, cuídate.
Okay.